Boom, guys, listen, we're back. And today, we're going to talk about how to stop giving a shit about anything, really. And you've seen videos about this all over YouTube. Maybe some girl with her fancy soy milk matcha latte, extra caramel especiato in it, right? Talking about how she stopped caring about what other people think, sitting there with 15-inch fingernails, right? All maked up and, caked up and whatever, who knows, right? We're not gonna go fancy here. I'm not gonna give you an esoteric protocol for how to drink raw milk on a cutting board in order for you to not care. That doesn't work. It doesn't serve any purpose. I'm gonna give you the raw truth, the facts. First of all, you have to understand that giving a shit about what people think is important to a certain extent. If you are someone who doesn't get liked by anyone, who gets rejected by everyone, who, you see that there's a pattern, right? If you're, emotionally intelligent, you see there's a pattern. People don't seem to shy away from me when I do this, right? Then that is not a sign for you to stop caring about it. It's a sign for you to look in the mirror and be like, oh shit, maybe what comes out of my mouth is not good. Okay, maybe I should, consider changing that because people are rejecting what I'm like. You should think that way. So you need to care to a certain extent, right? When it comes to pattern recognition, this is basic human understanding of our environment around us, how we operate, etc. I wanted to make that point because I see a lot of people, especially people who read the book. I don't know if you've heard about it, How to Stop Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. All these people who read this book. Because I haven't read the book, so I don't know. I got told about it by a friend a long time ago. But everyone just seems to read this book or suddenly like, yeah, I don't care about this, kind of care about that, right? But hey, fuck do I know? So don't be that way because you need to care to some extent, okay? But what's important about caring, okay? And this is huge. I'm gonna bring back this point. If you follow this video, I swear I'm gonna blow your mind about this and why this is so key. The biggest thing you can do to stop caring about anything, about what other people think in general, is to get in fucking phenomenal shape, okay? Get seriously strong, seriously good looking, right? Get some muscle in there. That's going to do a lot for you. That, and number 2, combat sports, okay? For that confidence. And it's funny, because I could have sat here and be like, yeah, this confidence routine is going to make you not care. That doesn't serve you any purpose, okay? But you have to also get strong. You have to go and lift stuff. You should lift heavy stuff too. And you should do combat sports. Those 2 things, right? You can click off the video now, or you can, stay. I would advise you to stay, to listen why this works, okay? Because this is key. Because you start to when you understand it in this sense, or this framework I'm laying out, then you see that, okay, you see why it works, right? Instead of just me saying confidence that just didn't give you anything, right? So I meet a lot of people, right? I meet a lot of people. I'm a famous internet person now. No, I'm not that famous. I'm just okay. No, but for real, I meet a lot of people, right? At the gym. I like to say hi to people at the gym and out in the world, right? And one thing I've noticed, right? Because I, top tier pattern recognition skills, is that every single time I meet someone who's got muscle, who's big and strong, right? Who see they're lifting, right? Improving their life. They are never, they're never a liberal pussy. Okay, how do I understand? You understand that? So every time someone I meet have muscle, they're not a liberal pussy. And it's interesting, right? It's just that when you are strong, when you have a capacity to lift and to take out other people with whatever combat sport, right? It doesn't really matter if you can do it, because there's always, let me tell you this, there's always going to be someone stronger, always going to be someone faster, always going to be someone who's better looking, who can take you on, there's people out there who can beat the shit out of me in Muay Thai, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. But the fact that you have the ability, the confidence to do that, makes you able to reject weakening ideas. And that's the key here, okay? That's the key. Because, I'll tell you this, weak people in general, right? What is a weak person anyways, right? What is a weak person? Have you thought about that? What is a weak person? Is it someone with small muscles?
It's someone with big muscles, huh? I know what a weak person is. I'm giving you a chance to think for yourself. But I'll tell you this: weak people, weak men, they get their thoughts handed to them. Think about that for a second. It's that you, right? It's that you. And I'll tell you this, right? Back when the fucking vaccine thing happened, right? I rejected that. I rejected it, right? And it's not like it's implicit when you have muscle and you can do combat sport that you can reject ideas. If you can't stand for ideas, if you can't physically defend ideas, then you don't own it. Like, it's like you've lost. I think Andrew Tate said this. I'm not sure. He's a wise guy. Anyways, he said that if I say that 2 + 2 is 5, and you say no, but I can beat the shit out of you, then 2 + 2 is 5, right? Because if you can't defend an idea, then that idea doesn't mean anything. I see this too. The foundation of every interaction we have is violence, right? And we don't want to go there, of course, but that's the foundation of every interaction. That's what rules every interaction. And if you have no capacity for that, to strength, to capability, then you don't own any ideas, okay? Whatever you're thinking is completely irrelevant, essentially. Just think about it for a second. Think about it for a second, okay? So you need to be able to be strong in order to defend the very ideas that you hold. And to not give a shit, right? To bring it back to the point, it's an idea that you hold. To reject an idea, right, is an idea in itself because it's a contrary idea. And that's why it's so important to be able to be strong, to be capable. And it's not about being the best. It's not about being the strongest. It's about being strong enough to reject the idea. Because if you are weak, the idea will be forced on you. And I like to joke about this stuff too, but it's all just ideas, right? And it's all just things to consider. But what I will say is that, because I had this thing, and maybe I'll make another video. If you guys want to see another video on why I rejected the whole vaccine thing, then just comment down below, because it's a huge point, essentially, for people in general, right? Maybe you. If you're so steadfast in your ideas, in what you believe, then ask yourself the question, would you be able to stand up and fight for it? Not win, but at least put down a good fight. And I think that's a good question to ask yourself, right? How willing, how able am I to, enforce this idea that I have here, right? Or reject this idea that is getting, put onto me? It's a really, really good question to ask, because if that's not an option for you, then it's not the fact. Then you don't really have any choice, right? It's what is it? Let's say you only have blue ladders. I'm looking at the blue slide now. Let's say you can only have let's say you only have blue ladders, right? There's only blue ladders available. And you're saying that I would never buy a red ladder. Well, there's no red ladders available to you, so you're going to have the blue ladder regardless. And so you can hold that idea, the idea of a red ladder, as much as you want. But if you have no other option, then it doesn't matter what you say, right? You can put that into context of what I was talking about. Then you start to see why it's important to actually be strong and be capable in that sense. It's not about it's not just about looking good or being strong for numbers. It's about protecting the very ideas that you hold, the very ideas that you believe. And it's interesting too, I want to say this again, right? I've never seen someone who's big and strong be a complete liberal pussy who believes in all this crap, right, that they're trying to force on us. Once you understand strength, once you understand being capable, you start to hate tolerance, because you understand that in order to build strength, in order to build capability, there's sacrifice and there's work involved, right? And tolerance allows people to just shortcut that. And that, for someone who's built themselves up in a certain sense, that's a disrespect to them. So that's probably why that is a pattern to be seen in that sense. But I don't want to ramble too much. I just thought I'd give some context on why getting stronger, getting fitter is the fastest and most, pretty much the most guaranteed way of stopping to care about what other people think. Okay, so I hope that helped. I hope that was, interesting to you
to hear in this context, right? Because everyone just talk about this like, oh, I don't want to care what this person said or this person said, right? Well, you don't have to. Just do these two things and you'll be all right? Stay strong, hold the line, take care, and God bless. Boom!